Hey everybody, I'm Steph from Adventure in a Backpack, and today we are going to be doing some routine maintenance on the 2007 Dodge Sprinter. So we're going to be changing the air filter as well as the fuel filter. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to start by taking the air filter shroud off, and so this is just a Torx T25. Go. Okay, cool. So I just loosened those up with a screwdriver and then they popped right off with a little bit of wiggling. Okay, so I'm just going to move this shroud out of the way. And there's our air filter. So the air filter's right here. I just pull that out. That's gross. Okay, I'm glad we decided to do that. Okay, so there's our air filter. Okay, now before we move on with the air filter, we need to change the fuel filter. And the fuel filter is actually underneath the housing for the air filter, so we're not going to put the air filter back in just yet. We need to take this whole assembly out to get underneath here to get to the fuel filter. So, down there, back up in there. It should pop out. Just a little bit of muscle. Ow. There we go. Okay. Actually, I probably could have pulled that whole thing out, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm just going to move this whole shroud out of the way. Over here. Okay, so I've got that out of there. And yeah, I think this is going to be in my way, so I'm going to go ahead and take that hose clamp off. So it's just a 9/32 socket. Off. Let's see if I can pop this off pretty easily, hopefully. There we go. Okay, now let's get that completely out of our way. Okay, so now we can see the fuel filter right here. So we're going to take off all of these hoses right in here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So there's two hoses right in here and then a couple of sensors. So we're going to take those out, and then this whole filter will just come out, and we have a new filter over here. Those are. Okay, and those are the same size sockets, the 9/32. Oh, no, that one isn't. 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch. Okay, so one that's 9/32 and one that's 1/4 inch. These hoses are stuck on there. I'm gonna get a towel ready just in case this spills some fuel. This is one of the reasons that I wanted to do this maintenance on this myself, because, you know, I just don't trust other people to have done the maintenance properly. This fuel filter is supposed to be changed every 10,000 miles, and with as solidly as these hoses are stuck on there, I'm just gonna take a wild guess and say that it probably hasn't been done every 10,000 miles. Okay, so we've got these two hoses off. Now this entire assembly will come out after we loosen up this one last bolt. So there's just a little harness in there holding the fuel filter in, and it looks like it's a Torx bolt. Let's see. It's kind of difficult to see even for me right here. I'm sure you guys can't see it. Okay, so I found the proper Allen key for this, and I believe this is a 3/16. Last part is just gently wedging this whole sensor piece out. Okay, so don't pull the fuel filter out before you pull this out. Okay, now I'm just going to put this down, make sure that doesn't get any dust on it. Okay, now we're going to pull this back, pull the whole fuel filter out. Set that back down in there. Okay, and then we're gonna go grab our new fuel filter and pop it back in. Okay, so now we've got our new fuel filter and our old fuel filter. Our new fuel filter came with 2 new O-rings that we'll use to install. And we're basically ready to go put it back in. Okay, so I've got my new fuel filter and ready to go ahead and pop that in. So I'm just gonna take this little plastic shroud off of there. Place that back in the harness. And there's these 2 O-rings on this sensor. So one right here, I don't know if you guys can see that, one right here and one right here. And the new fuel filter came with 2 new O-rings, so we're gonna take those off and replace them with the new ones. Okay, and those are the O-rings. So we've got 2 new ones that came with the new fuel filter. And those just slide right on, pretty easy. This one might be a little bit more difficult, but generally they're pretty easy. There you go, nice and simple. Okay, so we're going to pull that back in. So the new fuel filter came with some little plastic caps to make sure that dust doesn't get into the fuel filter while you're working on it. So I just left those on. Now I'm going to take the center one out so that I can put the sensor module back in. Okay, and then just work that down in there until it sits down. And then just twist it back into place so that the screw holes line back up. Reconnect your sensors. Okay, and then I'm just going to put the screws back in, and then we'll connect the hoses, and that's it. So this actually is a self-priming fuel filter as well, so you don't have to fill it with fuel before you put it in. You can do that, but if you don't, then it will self-prime. Ouch. And I'll show you how to do that in just one moment. I'm gonna grab my sockets. Let's see, we said 7/32 and no, it was a 1/4 inch. It's 1/4 inch, yeah. 1/4 inch and 9/32. Get our hoses reclamped back down. Remember, it's just those two hoses. Okay, and last but not least, put the screw back in the entire harness that holds this whole thing in place. And the reason that I waited until the end to tighten all of that down was just in case the fuel filter was off just a little bit and I needed to move it for the hoses. So I wanted to get those hoses reconnected first before I retightened that harness. Okay, so now your fuel filter is installed. The next part we'll do is put the heat shroud back on, put the air filter and air filter shroud back on, and then we will prime the fuel filter. Okay, so let's finish this up and put the the air filter back on. The air filter shroud and everything. I guess I gotta get my heat shroud first. Okay, so that goes just like that. These clips should clip in here. Oh, and they do. Hey, cool. Okay, so we've got that in there, the heat shroud. And now we're gonna get our air filter shroud back in there. So it just sit back there like. Okay, pop those back in. Okay, and then reconnect this tube. Oh, I should have done that before I pop that in. Okay, and then that just clips down right in here. So that's all secure. Now we need our new air filter. Okay, new air filter. I'm gonna have it in there just like that. And then we place our hose clamp back on. We'll tighten that back down in just a second. Get these back clips. Remember, I just pulled those out, so we're just gonna push them right back in. Now those are all in place, and I can screw all of these back down with my Allen key. Actually, this is a Torx bit. Okay, that's all tightened down. Now we need to put our hose back on, tighten that back down. Okay, we are done under the hood. Now let's just make sure that all of our sensors are hooked up. We're good. Now we're going to go prime the fuel filter and make sure everything is running. Start up the engine. Okay, so now we're going to prime the fuel filter and start the engine. So basically all you're going to do is cycle the key for 30 seconds. So we're going to turn the key to the on position, wait for 30 seconds. Then turn the key off and do that again. Usually only needs 1 or 2 times. Okay, and then it should start up. There you go. Okay, so that's all there is to changing an air filter and a fuel filter in a 2007 Mercedes or Dodge Sprinter. Check out our next video. We'll be changing the oil in the same Sprinter. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more Sprinter and van life videos. Bye.